to the Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with...
This is Mariah from Mika.
And this is Bella Perron from the band Plush.
Nice. Here on Shiprocked,
Yeah.
okay? So we've talked at festivals before, but never on Shiprocked. How has your experience been so far? It's day 2, and have you played Shiprocked before?
No, actually, this is our first time, and we're
Nice.
honored to be here. Like, we'd heard so many great things going into it of just the community and just the positive vibe all around, and like we're hoping for that going in, but we're just blown away by just how incredible it is, and we're having the best time.
It's cool,
crazy.
right?
We're still getting started.
I'm a newbie too on the boat, and it's
really?
it's so much cooler in some ways than a festival, right?
Yeah, I feel like you don't have like that rushing around you really have at a festival where it's like play the show, then you do all the press, and then you go try to catch all your favorite bands. And
Right.
It's like chaos for like 8 hours. This is so fun though. Everyone seems a little bit more relaxed, like actually more of a chance to hang too.
Exactly.
It is like a little vacation. Like,
Right?
I mean, it is a vacation.
Whereas a festival really isn't for you guys. It's super stressful.
It's a great time, but it's
But-
definitely a lot going on at once.
Exactly. And like you mentioned media, like, okay, see, here there's very limited media, whereas at a festival, you guys got to go around to like 30 different people, and that in and of itself is stressful if I were an artist, okay?
It's definitely an honor to be a part of something like that, and you know, to have the opportunity of so many media outlets wanting to talk for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of kind of moving around and like hoping like, you know, you're able to still have that genuine conversation when it's like absolute chaos going around.
And how do you find playing on this cruise ship, like compared to playing anywhere else?
So much
man.
fun.
Yeah, I think this has been, me personally, I think this has been some of my favorite shows. Like last night was my favorite show personally, I think, thus far with Plush. And I think that it's some of my favorite sound ever and the best crowds, like the best people.
Right?
So enthusiastic, so fun. Like they are happy to be there. And they stay. Like
None of the
they're
complainers.
So supportive and welcoming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can tell everyone's here to have a good time, and oh my gosh, usually we'll joke around on stage with each other and whatnot, but I think that was definitely a new record of the amount of times we're just messing with each other.
I
And
love
it was
it.
so fun.
And the crowd loves it. It's such a different vibe.
For sure.
So what does it feel like thought-wise, to be playing 2 sets on the cruise? Like after you do the first one, do you sit there and go, okay, so let's do this for the second one? Like, do you get out of it based on the feedback from the crowd and all that, how you can like make the second one better?
I feel like knowing what the energy is going into it, because I think at first we were a little nervous being like the first band on the
Right.
theater stage, and it's like doors open, we're like, is anyone going to show up for this one? Hollywood Undead's playing on the deck, like,
Right.
I'll go there, you know? So I think just seeing like the community and really how hard everyone goes at these shows, it's like we are going to amp up the energy.
It's almost like a cult too. Like shiprockers are like a cult. Like even before I did this, I have a bunch of friends that come on here. I'm like, that's a cult. But in the
an
best
epic
way.
one.
But in the best way possible. It's
for
like,
sure.
you know, there's such fanatics about the music and the cruise and everything. Like we were discussing before, festivals, you have people that go and there's people that love it, but then there's all the people that no matter what happens are complaining about it. And you don't have any of that here.
Oh, it's so cool. It's just such an amazing like group of people, you know, even if it's someone you've never met before, it's like everyone's just so talkative, and there's that cool common ground of everyone's here because we love these bands and love going to shows.
Yeah, totally. And I got to tell you, I know you noticed by how long you were here, but I came here before you even started the meet and greet, and I was like, oh, there's not too many people out there. And I was in here, and it was kind of empty. And then I walked outside, like, literally 2 minutes later. I'm like, where'd all these people come from? You guys had a line so long, I couldn't even see the end of it. And, like, literally, they had to cut it off. You'd be here all day.
That's insane. Literally, we were just like absolutely shocked when like we got here and there was a line and we're like, huh? Like literally we were in the room and you were checking the app because you could see like if people like, you know, added the event to their schedule and we're like, do you think anyone even added this? And then you were like, I think 100 people did. I'm like, shit, no way.
Yeah, we were like,
it was insane.
Like, crazy. Are they gonna show up?
Like,
those people.
Reminder, you know?
Yeah, because, you know, it's like with Facebook events, people say yes and then don't show up.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But it was amazing. And just to put it in perspective for you, most of the meet and greets, even with like the huge bands, they're like 10 minutes long and it flows through real quickly and everything. You guys, okay, so it's 4:20 right now. Our interview
On the dot.
right? I can't even believe that happened when I looked at it. I was hesitating to say it, but our interview was going to be at 3:30 because we figured that's when the meet and greet will be over.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So-
I didn't even realize it's been like, what, an hour and a half? Hour 45?
Yeah, your meet and greet was at
Woo.
3 o'clock.
Wow.
More crazy times.
Wow. It is indeed crazy time.
And they had to cut it off because it was just kept going all day. And that is what's cool about the fans on the ship.
Oh my gosh, everyone was so nice too. Gosh, everyone that came through like wanted to chat more, you know?
Right.
But
Some people had their kids with them, like, which I love.
See, that's cool.
I thought that was so cool.
So how would you compare your meet and greets at festivals compared to doing this?
I think it's completely different.
yeah,
I don't know if we really do meet and greets at festivals.
usually all I can think of is like Rockfest,
Yeah.
and that was like a similar deal, but it's like, you know, a separate part away from the stages, and it was really cool. That was another one where we were just surprised people showed up. But yeah, usually festivals, it's like, you know, you do and you play your show, and then you're backstage doing media, and you don't really have a chance. Except for like, you know, when we run in the crowd later to catch all the sets, you know,
Right.
we don't really like get to like meet that many people.
Yeah, and then people aren't as, you know, some people in the festivals aren't as respectful as the crew, as people in the cruise at Shiprocked.
Everyone here's been so respectful. It's so cool.
I was going to say, too, and you probably noticed this, the artists on here are more likely to have to be with the general public than at a festival, but yet they are, and nobody bothers them. They just, like, are able to enjoy the cruise, too. That's what I've
It's
noticed.
so cool to see. It's like I keep noticing like we've just been like getting like all our meals at the buffet because it's like why not? And then you run into all these other artists doing the same, and it's like yeah, there is catering, but honestly, here's a vibe.
Right.
Right.
You know, you're right near all the other stages.
You would
and-
never do that at a festival. You wouldn't, like, eat at where general admission is. But yet here, like you said, it's like all the artists are in the same dining as everybody else. And one of the fears you have as an artist is you're trying to eat, people are going to come up and bug you while you're eating. I saw none of that at all.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and everyone too. It's like if you bump into people, it's like a friendly conversation. Everyone's
and it's
just that
fun.
sense of family too.
Right, exactly, 100%.
Absolutely. So now, what else do you have going on for 2025 that you want everybody to know about?
So for 2025, we are focusing on our second studio album.
Nice.
Which is going to be super, super fun. We're going to do it a little bit differently than we've done previous ones. We're going to try and really get together in the live room in the studio and work things out together in there.
That's the
for
way
the
to do
recording
it, though.
process. And yeah, you can't capture that organicness.
I can't
What
even
else I feel
imagine
like
how
in that
hard it
chemistry.
is when you're like separated and trying to produce an album. Like there is that thing when you're all in the same room where you can vibe off of each other, feed off of each other, and it's just different.
Right, and you can talk about it. You could talk about it. What do we like? What do we not like? What do we, you know what I mean?
And you can experiment with it too. I love it all, and all the different experiences are amazing. But like when we did the EP, half of it was that remote tracking of like we need to get the stuff together. It's been an idea that's been bounced around, but we haven't really jammed it much. And it's like send some ideas for leads, and it's like yeah, let me email that to you, you know?
Right.
And it's like you don't really get that like oh that's cool, but what about this sort of back and forth. forth, it's like, oh, that was a really cool part.
Right.
It's like via text, you know?
Yeah,
And
bang, bang, bang.
And I imagine there could be miscommunication because we all have it from text and email. Like,
Sure.
you don't have that tonality. Like, I always have to, when I write an email or text, I really have to think, and I'll read it back to myself. And it's like a lot of work to make sure somebody doesn't take it the wrong way.
Exactly. Especially too when you're like being creative together and you do have that back and forth of I think this might sound this better, or this might sound better, and you're trying to convey that over text or email instead of it being like this open-minded discussion or like just like God, for the first record we were literally, it was us and the producer Johnny K all passing the guitar around, giving different takes of trying out different ideas
Nice.
for textures, and like you can't really do that remotely. So I'm stoked for this new record. I think going way more, even more organic than the first one, and really doing it all in the live room and bouncing ideas around and seeing what comes together.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it too, like, artists are creatives. And so if you misconstrue something you're saying to one of your other band members in a text, they could get insulted.
Yeah.
Without being face to face and seeing that you're not being critical and it's just talking on text, you could, like, that doesn't sound nice.
Exactly.
Well, any relationship I feel like you have, or at least for me, I always am overthinking text and tonality and all these things. I always am an overthinker with stuff.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Like, you read something somebody says and it's like, it's not even what they meant, but you like do this
You can
like
think yourself
mind screwing in your head of what it's saying.
Yeah.
I feel like completely. Or it's like looking at like how did they structure this sentence? Yeah, they hate me. That's it.
Right?
You know?
How come they're not using any emojis? They must be
Right?
upset.
It's all in lowercase. We're in trouble.
Right?
You know what's so sad at this point is I'm like in text messages if somebody's just using like regular punctuation, like they put a sentence and there's a period. I'm like, oh my God, they put a period.
That's so bad.
Oh my God, it's awful.
Right? Oh, man. So when can we expect this new album? Do we know yet?
2025.
Yeah, 2025. We don't
There
have
you go.
an exact
We like-
date yet,
that's
but
a good
we're really
answer.
trying to we really want to take our time on this one and really come together because as Bella said, everything was remote. You know, there's always like time, gotta get this album. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we really can take our time with this album. With this.
That's great because that's when the best music comes. Because I
Right.
think that's one problem that artists have nowadays compared to the old days is you guys have to be so busy that you're writing these songs on the road and like you have to rush for a deadline. And then after you put it out, you're like, oh man, I would have liked to do this. I would have liked to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
And gosh, we run into that now when we play songs live. It's like, actually, I did not like what I put on the song. I'm going to do this instead if that works for you. And I feel like everything from that first record we play differently now.
Right?
I don't sing anything. I don't think I even sing anything the same.
See, and that just proves it. But now you're going to have the time and you're going to create the time that it'll probably be some of your best work ever because you can put everything you have into it and not settle.
Right.
Exactly. That's the goal. And I feel like, too, especially after the past few years of just constant touring and always growing together as a band, to get a record that's like kind of the new snapshot in time of what we sound like and where we're at creatively.
Which, speaking of that, like a lot of people that don't understand this life, they think, oh, man, you're living the dream life and this and that. And they don't realize how hard the work is to be an artist, especially today. And all the work
constant.
you put into it and the stress and everything you got to deal with. Like, yeah, there's parts that are really fun, but that's a small part of it. And there's all the other stuff that people don't see or know about.
Exactly.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's very much one of those things where it is that way totally, but I feel like those small moments where that small part of it
Yeah.
are the parts that
Make up for everything.
right, that make the big stressors and all that stuff worth it. Like 100%.
Yeah, because if you're not having fun in this business, all that other stuff you wouldn't want to do.
Doesn't matter. Right.
You know?
Exactly. And it's like, too, if you're with the right group of people, you have way more positive moments than this sucks and I'm overwhelmed, sort of vibe, especially like, gosh, going into a tour where for us, it's like, yeah, of course, the highlight of the day is playing the show, but all of the moments throughout the day of hanging out with everyone. And it's like, yeah, you're working all the time, but when you're doing it with a great group and it's work you really enjoy, it's like, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else.
Well, that's key, too. I talk about that all the time, because if you don't like the people you're in a band with, or you don't get along, or there's personality conflicts, that is hell, because it's 24/7 you have to deal with it. Now, you take the other side of it, when you're like a family, which you should be as a band, then it just makes it so much easier. And you guys are better, because like me as an attendee, I can look up and like I can tell if you're just having the best time ever and you love each other, or if you're like, yeah, I can't wait to get off stage because I can't stand this person.
Right. Girl, sorry. I'm just here for the cruise, not going to lie.
So, what would you say so far is your favorite moment on Shiprocked?
Oh, playing the theater, for sure. For me, it was once the way our set structure, at least guitar tuning wise, we get heavier throughout the set. So like once we get to like the drop B songs and it's like, it just, the newer stuff, it sounds heavier. I'm like, yeah, we're locked in now. This is fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
Nice. Tell everybody how they can connect to you guys on the web, on socials. Look for the new album when it comes. Buy your merch, because it's the only way bands survive nowadays. So they can't listen to my show unless they buy your merch.
Thank you.
And anything else that you want them to know to reach out to you or look for.
Yeah, so we have a website called plushrocks.net where you can get merch bundles, you can get our music, you can see our tour dates, all that stuff. And then we have a Facebook, which is Plush Official, Twitter, which is Plush Rocks, and then we are also Plush Rocks on Instagram as well.
Nice. And is there anything else you want to let the listeners know about that we haven't covered already?
Just thank you so much for all your support. It's one of those things, I think, when you're we've had this talk a bunch, like all of 2024, when you're in the trenches and playing shows all the time and just like what's on the plan for today and like just getting through it, you don't realize how much things are growing and how many people are like, reflecting and seeing the growth. And like something like today with the meet and greet and that, the theater show, it's like we're just really humbled by all the people that are taking the time to listen to our music and support the band. It's really touching. So thank you.
Well, you guys totally rock, pun intended. And
thank you.
I love that you're here at Shiprocked. It's way cool, and I hope you have a blast the rest of the trip, which you will.
Oh, we will, for sure. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh, like, even for me, I have to work less. Like, festival, I'm like all day, every day. Yesterday, I didn't even have to work at all. I'm like, oh, wow. I felt weird all day. I was like, I should be somewhere.
Right?
That's what it felt like.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's where I'm going after the next interview.
Nice.
So thanks a lot for being here and making great music, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure.
Hey, what's going on? This is Mariah Formica.
And Bella Perron.
And we are Plush, and you are listening to the Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.